Okay, so here we have our paper set up for us, right? And you'll notice that up top I've got 5 line segments for you of varying lengths. There's and Okay? Don't make me do that again. All right? So there's 5 line segments up there for you, and we are going to be building line segments that are long today. All right? So we don't have any numbers. We won't use any numbers other than how we say what parts of these line segments we're going to do, but we're not going to measure these. Now, could we do that with our little ruler here? Yeah, we absolutely could, but we're not going to because today we're going to be focusing on synthetic geometry. All right? So today we're going to be focusing on our synthetic geometry. So let's kind of just dive right in. Now, well, we'll just start labeling this. We'll talk as we go along here. So, all right. So this is going to be example 1. And here for example 1, we are going to construct. And when I say construct, that means we're using this tool. This is your construction tool. There's a difference between constructing, drawing, and sketching as we move along. We'll talk about those differences. But constructing is a precision measurement, and this is the tool we use for our precision measurements. All right, so we are going to construct a line segment. That line segment is going to be DF, line segment DF. And we want that to be the length of plus We want it to be a Y length combined with an X length, whatever those measurements are, we don't really know. But we want to combine that together to make DF. Now, what I've done for us in each of these boxes, so you can see I have a box here, and then I've got this straight line segment path in here. This is going to be a straight path for us to work on, just so we can keep our notes and our constructions neat and organized, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to build line segment DF. And so what we want to start is just a D, a place to start with. So we're just going to put a point here on our line, and we're going to mark it D. We're going to point here on our line, and we're going to mark it D. Now, the first length that we want in our line segment, we're always going to build these from left to right. Okay, that's going to be important when we get a little bit more advanced. We're going to build these from left to right. So the first one that I want is a line segment length of Y. So I'm going to take my compass, and I'm going to open it up a little bit so I can move it around comfortably, but still a little snug. I'm going to put my pointer out here at the end of my Y line segment. I'm going to open it up so I can get a nice measurement on my Y segment here. Once you have that, you're going to come down, you're going to put your pointer on D, and then you're going to draw a nice smooth arc like that, nice and big through your line segment here, like that. Okay, so this is the distance Y, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to be labeling our distances today. So, for example, and you're going to have to get good at drawing these little swoopy things, so watch me carefully up here. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go swoop down like that, come to a little point, swoop back over, and I'm going to put a lowercase y down here. That's going to tell me that that's the distance y. Now I want to combine that distance y with the distance x. Okay, no problem. Segment addition possibility, all right? Part plus part makes whole. So a y part plus an x part is going to make a whole d to f. So I'm going to grab my x distance here. I'm going to adjust my compass to get it where I want it to be. That looks pretty good right there. Just check it. Make sure that's what I want. And then I'm going to come down here to the end of my y distance. And I'm going to just draw an arc right through there. Nice big arc so I can see it nice and curved like that. And this, of course, is going to be a distance of x. And since I know I have a distance of y and now a distance of x added onto that, I can put a point out here and I can call that f. And then the last thing to complete my construction is I'm going to highlight my line segment DF. So watch what I do here. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to kind of just drop it off my line segment just ever so slightly like that. You see that? So it's just a little bit below it. That makes it easier to work with my highlighter. And then I'm going to highlight from D to F. And that's how you're going to tell me that's the section, Mr. Vargas, that is a Y plus X length long. Line segment DF. Same thing as a Y plus an X. What do you think? Not too bad, right? Pretty easy. Okay. All right. Good. 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 Okay. Yeah.
How do you know which ones you want to add together?
Because I'm going to tell you right here.
Oh, okay.
Y plus X. So I'll give you the problems. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so we're going to go to example 2. Again, we're going to construct, which means we're going to use our compass tool, our precision measuring tool. We're going to construct, and this time we're going to construct line segment RS, and that needs to be 2Z plus A units long. 2Z plus A units long. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell your neighbor right now, take 30 seconds, tell your neighbor, how are you going to build a line segment that's 2Z plus A units long? Tell your neighbor right now. Go. How are you going to do it? Okay, you ready? Come on back. All right, did you tell your neighbor that you're going to start by putting point R on your line? Okay, because that's where you should start, is by putting point R on your line. And then from point R, you should measure out 2 lengths of Z and then a length of A. And that will give you a line segment RS that's 2Z plus A long. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do it. Go ahead. You start working on it. So I'm going to go grab my lengths I need. I need a Z length here. Pointer down on the left. Adjust my compass. There we go. That's pretty good. All right. Come down here and I'm going to go arc. Nice big arc for my Z length. Come down here. I'm going to go nice big arc for my Z length. Now I need an A length. So I'm going to come back up top here. Remeasure my compass setting. It's a little short. There we go. That's pretty good. Then I'm going to come down here. At the end of my second Z, I'm going to put a mark down here. That is A units long. Then I can come in here and label so I know what I got. I know that I've got a Z length. I know that I've got a Z length. I know that I've got an A length. So my line segment from R goes a Z and an A. I'm good. 2 Z's and an A. I can put my point out here. I can put my capital S for my line segment RS. And then the last thing I need to do is just highlight what part needs to be graded. What part is 2 Z's and an A long. Take my ruler just a little bit off my line. And then I'm going to highlight from R to S, just like that. There you go, line segment RS, 2 Z's and an A long. Look at you, precision building line segments, segment addition postulate synthetically. Okay, how you feeling? Feeling confident? All right, let's try one. I'll let you do this one. All right, we're going to do example 3. We are going to construct line segment LM, and line segment LM needs to be Y plus A plus Z units long. Line segment LM, Y plus A plus Z units long. Go for it. Let's see what you can do. So here's what you should have come up with here, right? Most of you did. So I started with my point L, and then again, I'm just building left to right. Y plus A plus Z. Okay, all right. Let's do another one. Okay, here's example 4. We are going to construct with our precision measuring tool. We're going to construct line segment PL. And that is going to be B plus Y minus A units long. Wait, what? Okay, well, let's think about that for a second. B plus Y minus A units long. Well, I told you we were going to build these left to right, right? So, I mean, if you think about it, we need a place to start, right? And we're going to go a length of B, and then we're going to go a length of Y, but then we're going to have to come back a length of A. Okay, all right. Well, let's kind of do this. We'll do this one together and see how I do. So, like, we need a place to start, right? So let's get a P point down here to start. And then the first thing is I need a B plus a Y. So let's do that, a B plus a Y. So I'm going to go get my B and my Y measurement. I'll grab those over here. So here's my B measurement. Again, you want your arcs to be nice and long. See how I made my arc nice and long like that? So I want a B measurement, and then I want a Y measurement. All right, so here's what I know so far, right? I know that this distance from here to here is a B measurement, and this distance from here to here is a Y measurement. And if I wanted a B plus Y line segment, I could put my point out here. But I don't want a B plus Y line segment, right? I want to shave off an A. Okay, well, let's get an A measurement first on our compass. I'm grabbing my A. You should be getting yours as well. All right, so this is my A measurement. Now, if I've been adding too, I've had my pointer on the left, right? I have a pointer and move my pointer and move my pointer and keep adding. So it stands to reason if I want to subtract, I should just turn my pointer the other way, start down out here at my Y point, and mark off a distance of A. Notice my arc goes the other direction. This is how I will know you're subtracting, because your arc will go the other direction, like a circle, the other side of a circle, the left side of a circle. And so then I can notate that this distance right here that I can tell was marked off because the circle goes the other side. This is like the left side of the circle where this is the right side. I've taken off my A. Now I've gone B plus Y, take off A. That means that this right here is where my point L should go. And then I can come in with my highlighter and I can say, right here, Mr. Vargas, this is what I want you to grade from P to L, just like that. That's the work you would show me to create a B plus Y, take off A line segment, PL. Okay, that's not too bad, right? That makes sense? Right? We're good. Build from left to right. Okay, so then you can just sort of maybe scribble the part, the axis of the part that you highlighted, right? Because we just want to use the highlight just to do, this is the part that I want you to grade, okay? All right. Feeling confident? Feeling like you can handle this? Okay, all right. I'm going to give you the one do now, all right? So we'll do this one down here. We'll call this example 5. We're going to construct line segment EG. And line segment EG needs to be a Y plus A minus 3Z line segment. So line segment EG needs to be a Y plus A minus 3Z line segment. All right, go for it. Line EG, Y plus A minus 3Z units long. I just went around and checked. Most y'all had the same construction on there, which is good. I went my Y distance, I went my A distance, and then I backed off 1, 2, 3 Z's. There you go. Now you're doing some real construction building here going on. Okay. How about we take it up a level? Let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's go to the back side of our paper. Again, you have the same X, Y, Z, BA line segments. I just put them at the top so you don't have to keep flipping your paper back and forth. It's at the top of all your paper. So, all right, so let's talk about this one. Now, you notice this box is a little bit bigger here. All right, and so we're going to work on our new construction. So this will be example 6. And this one that we're going to construct, this line segment, we're going to do line segment DC. And we want DC to be X plus 1/2 Y units long. X plus 1/2 y units long. Well, but here's the problem, though. Hang on. We're not allowed to use this to measure y to figure out how much half of it is. We just have to construct it synthetically. Okay, all right. Well, we did something like this before. 8 centimeter line segment, do some constructions, and then we drew a line through the 4 centimeter mark. That's halfway, huh? Whoa, being able to find a midpoint, that might be important. Okay. All right, well, let's see what we can do here. All right, let's start with, we're building left to right again, right? So let's start with our point out here. Let's just call point D out here. All right, now, if I want x plus half y, I'm going to have to start with x and a full y, right? And then I'm going to have to take that y length and cut it in half, right? Okay, so let's get an x length on there first to start off with for sure. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab an x length. All right, so I got my x length here. Mark that off like that. I could even label that just so I know what it is. Okay, so that's my x distance right there. All right, now I need a full length of y. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to get a full length of y. A little further. That looks pretty good. I'm going to start right here at the end of my x, and I'm going to put a full length of y out here. In fact, let's label that too. So we got a full length of y out there. Okay, now, if you recall, when we were doing our constructions, our fun with constructions, and we were making our regular octagon, I'd said to you, well, you know, if we wanted to, we'll pretend this is an 8 centimeter line segment, right? We pretend with that. So we started with this 8 centimeter line segment, and I said, all right, well, put your compass pointer at one end, and then open it up like almost all the way, maybe like 3/4 of the way, definitely more than halfway for sure. You know, just kind of open it up there and then just make sure that that's nice and snug down. And then what we did was we kind of took our compass and we just sort of arced above like this. And we came down here and we sort of arced below like that. So we were just drawing these kind of like partial arcs of our circle. Remember, arcing above and arcing below. And then I said, keeping that same compass length, we're going to flip our pointer over to the other side here like this. And then we were going to cross those arcs up here and down here. Remember that? We crossed the arcs here and here. And by doing that, what we ended up finding was the 4 centimeter mark on our 8 centimeter line, or the midpoint. And so if we take our two crossing arcs here, like this, and this, and we just draw our line through there, that should be the dead middle of our y segment. Well, let's check it and see, right? So we're going to take our compass, and I'm going to adjust it just a little bit here so that it lines up. And I go, okay, well, that's half of y right there. If I move my compass over here, hey, look at that. That's half of y right there. So I found the middle of y by doing this pointer on one side, arc above, arc below, pointer on the other side, same distance, arc above, arc below. And now I found the midpoint of y. And actually, I can label this right here as 1/2 of y. So if I want a line segment that's x plus half of a y, I start with an x, I add on a y, I cut the y in half, and then for this case, I want to use the front half of y. So then I can take this, put my point here, call it C, and then come in with my highlighter to say, hey, here you go, Ms. Vargas, this is what I want you to grade right here. There's my line segment, DC. That is an x plus half of a y long. Okay. So we got a little skill that helps us break line segments into halves at midpoints. What is it called when we break a line segment into two equal congruent parts? Peggy Portmore from the other day. Begins with a B. Bisect, exactly right. We bisected line segment Y here. We bisected it right? And this line we drew is the segment bisector, and this point C where it happened to cross through is called the midpoint. Again, see how that language comes back into play? Yeah.
Does bisect always go through the middle of the line?
Yes. Thank you for re-emphasizing that. Yeah. So bisect two sections, but it's two congruent sections. So when we do this and we find the midpoint, we can say it's been bisected. Now, if that line came through somewhere else other than the midpoint, we could say it's been sectioned into two parts, but we can't call it bisected because bisected means two congruent parts. Super important word. Super important word for us. All right, great. Awesome. Good question. I love clarifying questions. Very good. Okay. Hey, let's do another one, huh? All right, here we go. Example 7. Let's construct line segment JK, and let's have that be half B plus 2Z units long. Line segment JK, half B plus 2Z units long. Okay, well, let's think about it. Again, we're building from the left to the right. So we're going to need half of a B, which means we're going to need a B unit length to start off with, right? So let's do this. Let's put a point out here like this. I'm not going to label that J just yet because that might not be the beginning of my line segment. I'm just going to put a point out there for now. All right? And then I'm going to get myself a B measurement. So let's get a B measurement. All right. So I'm going to come to my little point here. And when I make my points, I want to try to get them right in the center as much as possible. And I'm going to arc off my B distance here. And I can even label that just so I'm really clear on what that is, right? So that's going to be my B distance. All right, but now I want half of B, right? So I got to find that midway point or that segment bisector line that's going to cut B into two congruent parts. Oh my gosh, did you hear all that wonderful geometry language I just spoke? Did you understand what I said? I'm going to find the segment bisector line by arcing above and arcing below from both sides with the same compass setting so that I can get the midpoint and break B into two congruent parts. Oh, that's so wonderful. Yes. If you understood what I said, you're starting to speak my language. It's always important to speak my language. All right, here we go. I already told you I was a dork. You already know that. Don't act like you're surprised. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go more than halfway, right? About 3/4 of the way is good, you know. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to arc above. Oops. I'm going to arc below. And I'm going to come over here to my other side of my B line. I'm going to arc above. And I'm going to arc below. And when I connect those two intersections of those arcs there and there, I found a segment bisector line. I could even check it. I could be like, hey, what's the distance from here to here? Oh, it's the same as the distance from here to here. Wow, look at that. It makes it the midpoint. Now, here's the thing. I want to start my construction with half of B. So do you think I want to start with the front half of B or the back half of B? Yeah, I want to start with the back half of B, don't I? Because then once I have the back half of B, then I can put a couple of Z's onto it, huh? All right, why don't you go ahead and finish that up. See if you can find the right lengths. This is what we're looking at right here. So you can see that I've got my whole B here. This is half of B, and then I go ZZ like that. And so I want the back half or the right side of my B so that I can put two Z's onto it. Okay, we are atop page 3 now. Again, same X, Y, Z, B, A. Again, I just put them up there so you don't have to keep bouncing around your papers, okay? All right. This is example 8. This is our next construction. Here we go. So for example 8, we are going to construct with our precision tool, line segment TW, that is Z plus 1/4 B units long. This is Z plus 1/4 B units long. Hint, a half of a half is a fourth. Oh. Let's see what you can do. Go for it. Give it a shot.
You instead of going like 3/4 of the way there, you just go half the way there. And you do your, I feel like the half circle.
Yeah, the little midpoint thing. Yeah, that we're working on. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and so then you would come back, right? So let's kind of just talk this through, right? Again, if we're building left to right, we want a full length of Z to start with, right? And then we need a fourth of B added on it. So really what we need is a whole B, cut it in half again, and take the part closest to the Z. See what it did? I'm going to get a full Z, then I'm going to get a full B, I'm going to cut it in half and cut it half again, and then my Z in quarter B. All right, let's see if you can do it. Go for it. Okay, if you're moving in the right direction, you should have been heading this way here. Start with a Z, get a whole B on that. Then you can take B and you can cut it in half. And then you can take the front half of B and cut that in half. And what you'll be left with right here in this little space is a quarter of B. Okay, I'll let you finish that. Okay, so here's what I've done now. Right, so I found half of B. I got two halves of B, but I want Z plus a quarter B, which means I want the quarter B to be as close to Z as I can get it right next to it. So that means the quarter B's got to bump up with the end of this Z right here. So now I got to take this half and cut that in half. And then which side do I want of that? Do I want the left side or the right side? Yeah, I want the left side so that it goes T to that intersection at Z and then a quarter more. Okay, go ahead. All right. So here's what you should have come up with. You can see that I started with a Z. I added on a B. I cut that B in half. I cut the half in half to get the quarter, and then I highlighted from T to W. Take a look at my arcs, folks. Okay? You see how they're not super thick or really sketchy? I try to keep my pencil nice and sharp when I'm doing these. So here's the thing, just so you understand that I know what I'm looking for, right? I can tell when your arcs are big, I can tell what size and what direction you've set your compass pointer versus where your pencil is. I know that this is the right side of a circle. I know that this right here is the right side of a circle. These crossing arcs right here, if you do not have these crossing arcs, then I know that you didn't actually construct the midpoint. You probably just measured it with your ruler, okay? So when you're finding the midpoint, you have to do these crossing arcs above and below, flip it above and below. That's the work that needs to be shown in order to get full credit when you're doing this on your assessment, okay? Everybody good? All right, I got one for you. This is sort of your challenge problem, all right? This one you're going to do all on your own. Let's see if you can figure out how to put this together. Here it is, example 9. You guys are going to construct segment VR, and that will be 1/2 x plus 2z plus 1/8 b units long. Ready, set, go. So here's the final answer up on the board. So yours should look like this. So I started off with an X. I cut that in half and I used the right side of X. I put on a couple of Z's, and then from there I did a B. Cut the B in half. Cut the half in half for a fourth, and then cut the fourth in half for 1/8 using the parts closest to my existing line segment to get VR. Constructing line segments with fractional parts. Look at you go, using your tool to find midpoints and segment bisectors and congruent pieces and all of that. Nice job. All right, good.